This show is powered by BL3P, the Lightning-enabled European Bitcoin exchange.
Connect the build.
Keyan, Stacker.news, Austin.
Austin is the capital city of the US state of Texas. The city has a unique slogan, Keep Austin Weird, which encourages and celebrates its eccentric and independent culture. This motto emphasizes the city's support for local businesses and its creative community. Are you keeping Austin weird?
Yes.
The set symbol should just be a lightning bolt.
Yes.
Do you secretly hope that Satoshi Nakamoto will one day reveal himself on Stacker.news?
No.
Is there something you hate more than Airbnb?
Yes.
Ready Player One is an American science fiction film directed by Steven Spielberg. The film is set in 2045, where much of humanity uses Oasis, a virtual reality simulation to escape the real world. Do you know that Steven Spielberg said this was the third most difficult movie he has made in his career, behind Jaws and Saving Private Ryan?
No.
Do you have a Bitcoin or Lightning Network tattoo somewhere on your body?
No.
Chris Stapleton is an American singer-songwriter known for his powerful vocals, soulful blend of country, rock and blues, and his impressive songwriting skills. His album Traveler is widely regarded as his breakthrough and most critically acclaimed album to date. Is this your favorite album too?
No.
Cold brew coffee, also called cold water extraction or cold pressing, is the process of steeping coffee grounds in water at cool temperatures for an extended period. Coarse ground beans are soaked in water for about 12 to 24 hours. Do you know cold brew coffee originated in Japan?
No.
Did you buy a physical good with Bitcoin last week?
No.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connected World Weekly Podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Steph. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 80 of Connect World. Sounds great, right? 80. This show is made possible by BL3P, European Bitcoin Exchange, originated from Bitonic in the Netherlands. Thank you guys for helping us out to complete our mission. And if you also want to help out, then reach to us on our Telegram channel or, of course, subscribe at our YouTube. And if you have any questions at all, just, come in and ask them. A donation, of course, is always welcome. So that's also a nice possibility to keep us going. All right, let's head over to the highlights of this week.
Соединим этот мир.
And the highlight of this week is about, for those who listened to last episode with Lau Pratt of VIDA, then you all know this, of course, but if you didn't, then it's nice to know what VIDA is, what kind of platform, because it's a groundbreaking that paves the way for the future of live streaming and content monetization. And that's very useful because creators and podcasters combined with the Lightning Network, it can help them to monetize their content. And it's very simple. So with some simple clicks, a creator can add VIDA paywall to their streams and start earning immediately. And it also has Lightning powered chat. I'm going to show something because if you see it, it's better, of course. So I'm going to share my screen.
You should have recorded this one in VIDA, man.
Indeed, because we're recording with Riverside. Of course, when we had our talk with Lyle, we were thinking, well, VIDA should also be a great, nice thing to test it out and to see if all the possibilities that we have are also possible there. So this is their website. You can all check it out, of course. if you can start a room, you can schedule it, or you can hit start now. If you can schedule it, then you can name it. Everybody can come in. Of course, you have also RTMP possibilities and local HD recording, which was a real really difficult to implement. So that's awesome that it exists. And you see here that I'm logged in because they have Noster integrated. I really love that feature. So if you go to, this is VIDA.live, which they also have VIDA.page and then my own name, because I am logged in with Noster. There you see my page. And for example, this is the page of Ramon, our creative director. And he set there some for a request to call 60 cents, I see. Yeah, $60 per minute. And you can pay with sats. So if I want a 30-minute call with him, or I want to send him a message, so I send him a test, then I can choose, do I choose WebLN, or do I add funds to the VIDA account? Because that's also possible. Of course, it's with, for example, with fiat, like a credit card, but it's interesting that these possibilities exist for an easy on-ramp, and perhaps also some other people that are not Bitcoiners that want to try this out, because it really is interesting to set an amount to watch or chat or join a conference or a live stream. I mean, this, it's
what's
really
the price for a call with you, Keyan?
Are you on?
Yeah, I think I joined when they were still in beta. I don't remember. It's probably cheap. You could probably try to call me for cheap. I don't know if I'll answer, but
that's the thing, right?
Okay, nobody tested it with you, or
they might. There might be calls that I end up blocking. I don't know. Yeah,
awesome.
Really impressive what Lyle's done. I don't know if you guys were users like a year or two earlier, but it's changed a lot and improved so much. And
I know a couple of guys that used it, and indeed, I see all the information that they have implemented new stuff. So it's I think within now and perhaps half a year or something, that it can really compete. It competes as it is now, but I think on multiple levels, because integration with Lightning and Noster, that's for us amazing.
Yeah, man, it also looks very nice.
Yeah.
So that's also
it looks
important,
very
right?
nice quality also.
Yeah.
So I dare everybody, if you want to try it out and step into the future of content creation, then go to VIDA.live and test it.
Соединим этот мир.
Okay, let's give the man a proper welcome. Hi,
Keyan.
Good to have you on the show, man.
Indeed.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And the first thing I wanted to ask you, because we asked you if you bought a physical good with Bitcoin last week, and you said no, but then there was a bit of a doubt in your... I saw you doubt, and I was like, oh, did you buy something?
I did, yeah. I bought the Lightning Store put on sale the Mutiny wallet t-shirts, and I went there and I bought like a bunch of t-shirts from them last week. I had forgotten that I had done that though.
Okay, so Bitcoin is already merged into your life. You just forget about purchasing.
Yeah, that's a good sign. Yeah. It's so normal that it just it isn't strange anymore.
Yeah, but it still doesn't happen as frequently as I'd like. So
no, but so are there any shops or restaurants nearby where you can buy using Bitcoin?
Yeah, there's quite a few in Austin. There's a popular steakhouse we all go to, like a corporate steakhouse called Three Forks, and they will accept Bitcoin. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure there are quite a few more, but I'm not familiar with them. I know a lot of people who use Bitcoin, but use some kind of fiat bridge, like they just live on Bitcoin exclusively, and they use fiat bridges to use normal merchants, and I see a lot more of that right now.
Yeah, and the beef initiative, because that's also something that's very popular in your neighborhood, right?
Yeah, we buy our beef from a producer that accepts Bitcoin for payment. Although I'm not sure. My wife usually is the one who gets the deliveries, and I'm not sure. I don't think she's paying with. I don't think she's paying with.
Oh
Bitcoin.
no!
Oh yeah.
You need to. Isn't she orange pilled already? She must.
She's orange pilled, but she just doesn't really care that much about money. It's my job, really.
Okay.
or she's a diehard stacker and she just doesn't want to spend assets. That's also possible.
That's
right?
also possible.
OPSEC, yeah. She's she's so good at OPSEC. She's hiding all of her stacking from me.
Oh, cool, man.
You said, well, is there something you hate more than Airbnb? And you said yes. So what do you hate more than Airbnb?
I was like leaving myself the room to hate something more than Airbnb. I do hate Airbnb a lot, but there has to be something I hate. You know, like I probably hate murderers more than I hate Airbnb. You know,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Or perhaps something else will exist one day that you think, well, this is even worse than Airbnb.
But I saw a map you posted on Twitter because for the people that don't know, I obviously digged a bit into your history on the internet, the things that I could find about you. And you were complaining about your neighbor renting out his home at Airbnb, if I'm correct. But you also posted a map with I think it were purple spots or something. There's purple spots on the map of Austin, and you said, "What is this, guys?" And then you said, "These are all Airbnbs here in Austin." And I was like, "What the hell? That's a lot. That's really a lot."
Yeah, it's a pretty big problem in the United States right now, and if you hate Airbnbs, you pay a lot of attention to this, but there's like cities all across the United States. They're all in their local governments. They're debating whether they should ban them in residential neighborhoods or not. Because it's kind of weird. Like residential neighborhoods are for like families and people to live, and hotels are a business, and so it's not. It's like you wouldn't open a convenience store next door, you know, in your home, and so it's kind of weird that we're letting people open hotels. But it is like an epidemic of a certain kind, and it's like a fiat, a low interest rate driven epidemic in my opinion.
Yeah. And the thing is with Airbnb that the people who rent these places just having most of them are just having a vacation. So they go to bed late, they drink, they are going to light up a barbecue every night, you know. So
some music.
So it's I can imagine that's very, very annoying if you have something next door who's Airbnb himself.
Yeah, it's not a normal stay.
No.
So it's
and I mean, if you're in the cities, if you live in the city center of Amsterdam, I mean, it's like a big hotel. So then you're used to all the noise and all the tourists and all. But exactly what you just said. That residential area is not the place to have an Airbnb, right?
Yeah. In the case where you're living in a downtown area, you're opting in to being next to commercial businesses and all the noise and stuff, and you don't mind. But in a residential neighborhood, you live there because you want it to be quiet, and maybe you have a really strenuous work schedule and need to wake up, need to wake up in certain times, and it's not great. It's just so it's like people on their, like when I'm on vacation, I'm on my worst behavior. I'm like a total, like, just, I'm up late, loud and whatever. And when you're these Airbnbs, it's like pretty much consistently that way. And this particular Airbnb had a pool, and it slept 16 people. It slept 16 people, so it was like designed for parties, and
of course.
That's why I was so upset. I've since moved, so I don't complain about it as much anymore.
Perfect. Okay. Perfect. So that problem is solved.
And you're keeping Austin weird. Is it also that you put up some communities there to or meetups or to physically meet other Bitcoiners or something?
I'd say we're doing our part to make Austin weird. I'm currently recording in Pleb Lab, which is
awesome.
Yeah, like a Bitcoin hacker co-working space accelerator. And, a bunch of us Bitcoiners here, a super test net works out of here. A bunch of others that I'm struggling to remember right now. But yeah, all of us are here doing our Bitcoin thing. We're doing things like we've started throwing a Bitcoin farmers market.
Great. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we try to do as much as we can. Anything we can think of. Our door is a lightning powered door. You can pay sats to get into the front door.
Oh, really?
We're doing more stuff like that. Yeah. We're like trying to do
that's great
Bitcoin stuff.
And you obviously have a lightning enabled beer tap inside.
Oh, no, I'll have to talk to them about that. We actually don't.
Okay.
Yeah, come on, man. That's
I
mean, that needs to you need to
a
have
vending
one.
machine running on Ellen Bits.
That'd be step one. We do have some Ellen Bits stuff. We do have the Ellen Bits
awesome.
gaming system, the joystick one. And then we also have I think we have a gumball machine that is lightning powered too.
Perfect. Cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
Steph played a lot with the claw machine.
Yeah. It's very,
was funny.
it's very addictive, but
It is.
You have to spend your set. So, it's good to keep it a bit, not to play too much with it.
You brought a lot of stamps home.
Yeah,
Bitcoin
that's
stamps.
correct. And we want to talk about Stacker.news, but it has to be in the 21 minutes. But first, I can imagine that some of our listeners and viewers, doesn't know Stacker.news. Can you maybe introduce it a bit before we start with the difficult questions?
So Stacker.news is like Hacker News, or if you're not a technical person, it's like Reddit. But you, instead of earning karma, you earn Bitcoin. So if anyone votes or zaps your posts in the Bitcoin kind of web sense, they send you sats, and you can withdraw those sats at any time. So your participation on the site, you earn money. Additionally, we have kind of like what VIDA has. We have this thing called Sybil resistance, where you pay a little bit to post, you pay a little bit to comment, and it prevents any kind of weird spamming, weird behavior. Make sure people really want to do something, basically. And then additionally, every day we give any revenue we've earned to the top contributors to the site every day. And so that's basically the idea.
Perfect. Okay, well, we have prepared a lot of questions for you about Stacker.news, but we have to keep it all within the 21 minutes. So if you're ready, Keyan, and also Edward, then we would love to enter that part.
Ready.
Okay, let's do it.
Conecte o mundo.
Well, Stacker.news, like you said, is a platform that pays users for sharing great content using the Lightning Network. Can you explain how the integration with the Lightning Network works to facilitate these microtransactions?
Yeah, I don't know how much in the weeds we want to get, but it's it's really we have a custodial node, like you can wallet of Satoshi. Most people are familiar with that, and so a user will fund their account and put sats into our custodial node, and then they'll have a balance they can spend from, and then at any point they can withdraw that balance. They don't need to put in sats to begin using it, but to use Stacker.news, but they can put them in that way. And we have Lightning addresses, and so do a lot of LNURL stuff. Like we have LNURL auth, we have LNURL withdrawals, we have LNURL pay codes, but that's pretty much the extent of our Lightning stuff right now.
And it's all custodial right now. Are you guys also planning users that they can use their own Lightning wallet, so the non-custodial version, if they have one, for instance?
Yeah, this is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. It's just I've been solo developing Stacker.news up until about a month ago. I got my first engineering hire. So we just didn't have we'd never prioritize the non-custodial wallet. I'm obviously very, I prefer that mode of operating, and I prefer products that are non-custodial. So I'd like to do it myself. But there are a number of there's probably only a very small percentage of my users who would actually use a non-custodial integration. But those are the ones that are most important to me, the ones that actually want that. So we do plan to make it non-custodial, either LNbits integrations or Lightning Node Connect stuff from L&D or Commando stuff from Core Lightning. There's a lot of within the last year. There's been a huge improvement on the ways to connect to nodes, and so I'm really interested in that. In addition to some of the work that Breeze is doing with Greenlight.
So only it takes some time to implement, but will be implemented.
Yeah.
Okay. And how has Lightning payments impacted the user experience and participation? What are the key benefits? Do you have some feedback that you get from the users?
Well, I know that we get a lot of users who we might not otherwise get because they can earn money. And so I think that is that's like an important benefit that they get. I think there are, people who think like me, who really appreciate the kind of the game theory of having to pay and getting paid to post, and that it seems more sustainable than a site that might become have an ad driven business model eventually. And so those are some of the benefits, I think. But I think primarily Lightning has unlocked the ability for this product to exist. Like someone can deposit into Stacker.news a fraction of a penny and send it to another person, and they could withdraw a fraction of a penny. And so it's like there's a class of transactions that you might have engaged on the internet if you had the right financial technologies to do it, that just didn't exist before Bitcoin and Lightning. So that's really what it is.
Yeah.
And how do you keep the onboarding easy to capture also new users or users that perhaps are not into Bitcoin?
Yeah, we don't actually do a whole bunch to capture people outside of Bitcoin for now. Right now, we're pretty much entirely focused on the Bitcoin users. You mentioned earlier that VIDA has fiat on ramps. I know Found has fiat on ramps. These are great ideas to begin onboarding non-Bitcoin users to Bitcoin products. We don't have something like that because I am hyper focused on like the content is focused on Bitcoin stuff, Bitcoin adjacent stuff. That's really who the target demographic is. But I think eventually we'll want to do that. Right now we do we're mostly just organic word of mouth. We have a referral system that pays sats. If you share Stacker.news links, you'll get like bonuses from that. If that person's a good user, they're earning a lot of sats, you'll earn some of their sats. And then additionally, we do run ads on Fountain, which has like a really interesting kind of ad model where you basically pay people for listening to your ad. And so we've been experimenting with that, and so we get users from that. But that's really it.
And also, you just mentioned that you also allow annual URL authentication to log in, and it's possible to vote and comment using Lightning micropayments. What are the major technical challenges you faced when integrating with the Lightning network, and how have you overcome them, or are there still some to overcome?
It's a good question. I think initially I was a little bit confused by liquidity, like all of us are. And how that should work, but that ended up not being such like a huge problem for us because our payment volume is small. Like the amounts we're dealing with are kind of small, so it wasn't that big of a deal. I think I got by for the first year with maybe a quarter of a Bitcoin of inbound liquidity, and so it wasn't too bad. And then other difficulties are mostly just informing the users about it is really, but otherwise I think I would say it's easier than using a fiat system. I've done products where I've integrated with credit cards and through like the industry leading APIs like Stripe, and it was still easier to set up my own Lightning node, provide liquidity for it, and maintain that and interact with it than anything else. I'm also in control of the financial system that my my product uses and my users use. I'm in control of the technology, and I don't have to ask anyone for permission. No one's gonna, I might get shut down by my cloud provider, but they don't seem to care that much about small products like us. In contrast to like a company like Stripe, where I have a variety of friends in the Bitcoin space who are founders who they're regularly having issues with all kinds of these third-party companies that are, for some reason, they don't like them for some reason.
But what
interesting.
were the biggest differences then? Because you say it's more easy to implement the Light Network than the credit card systems and all. But what were the biggest differences between us?
One of the big ones is like permission. Is like you have to basically apply to these companies to allow you to accept credit card payments, and so that's a thing. And then you have an API integration that you don't control. So they basically say you can call these API endpoints, and we'll send you these things, and we're also going to take this fee, and because there's more or less an oligopoly in this space. You don't have any choice here. You basically have to let us take this fee, and those are like the sticky parts of that experience, I'd say. And then of course the ongoing threat of them shutting you down randomly or changing their API. And then in contrast, the Lightning Network, the fees that I pay, the fees my user pays are sometimes zero. Most of oftentimes zero, or can be rounded to zero. They're so low, and I'm in control of everything. I could swap out. I could run any Lightning implementation. I could write my own. I could use a different Bitcoin Core or Bitcoin protocol implementation if I wanted to. There's so many. There's so much more control that I have over nearly everything.
Yeah.
From a developer standpoint, it gives you the control gives you the possibility to program a different, much more different product than in the fiat world, I think, because all those systems are the same. So if you want to do something with a lot of innovation, then it's much more difficult. I think your creativity can just flow more because you can build everything yourself. So I can imagine, yeah. And how do you keep the users on Stacker.news to avoid ghost towns or to ensure continuous user engagement and growth?
That's a good question. So we probably have some things that work to do this. I don't know, they're not exactly explicitly designed for that purpose, but one thing is, I think obviously giving them the tips that they get or the zaps that they get keeps them on there. Additionally, I mentioned earlier that we do this reward thing where at the end of every day, we look at the top 21% of posts, the top 21% of comments, and then anyone who has zapped those things, we give them all of our revenue. We divide it between them and give them a reward every day. Additionally, we introduced like a fun little streak thing where you can get a cowboy hat if you're doing certain behaviors on the site every day. It's a little bit of an Easter egg. And so we're just trying to make it fun to stay back. But I think really what keeps people coming back is engagement with people who share their values, other Bitcoiners talking about Bitcoin stuff, and things that they would have a hard time maybe finding to talk about otherwise. And, occasionally really insightful conversations and stuff around, news that's going on, or a place where you can just get specifically the signal that's in Bitcoin, given that we spend a lot of time thinking about how to rank content and make sure it's not very noisy.
Yeah. So we're not going to see influencers being paid to go to Stacker.news and put their content there, right? Because that's the old model, of course. And this is more organic.
Yeah. That's a good. We do AMAs, which is maybe we don't pay anyone to come. The users pay them, and that's what's kind of nice. It's kind of democratic in that way. So, but yeah, we don't have any any of that kind of perverted business model where we're doing weird stuff that is maybe somewhat deceptive because we don't have to because we're able to use Bitcoin.
And as the Lightning Network grows, interoperability with a huge variety of platforms and apps is getting more and more important. And what are the chances and the possibilities here for you guys?
In terms of mobile?
Yeah, but also maybe integration, for example, with other types of content, so like video and audio and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've been kind of afraid that we might be moving into a like post-text internet, and no one wants to read anymore, and no one wants to write, and that might be happening. I know a lot of people. We just mentioned VIDA. You guys we're recording a podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
Noster just started doing streams. And then TikTok's, taking over social media. So what's going to happen in the Lightning space? I still really like text, but I do plan on allowing users to upload other types of content. I do, even though I'm not sure it's exactly healthy, an oversaturation of the other types of content. Like I'm pretty sure, like at Elon, I don't know if you guys have noticed at Twitter, like Elon, has somehow tuned the algorithm to show more videos in an attempt, to compete with something like TikTok, and it's ruined the experience for me. And I don't use it anymore, really. So, I think I'd rather have a text-based site if it means my users are learning more and they're like healthier, and so we'll see how that goes.
But it's also like what we Bitcoiners are about, right? We have low time preference. We just want to learn and overthink, and have as much information as we can soak up, right? I mean, if I'm talking for myself, especially when I just started digging in this rabbit hole, I've read so many things and listened to so many podcasts, and I think it's like TikTok and all. It's just 5 to 10 second video, and you can't really explain something in that short time period, right? So,
and you can interact on Stacker.news, so you can post something back or have a real discussion. And of course, you can do it with audio. But to write it's totally different, because then you need to choose your words
you
carefully.
can express yourself. Very
Indeed.
good.
Yeah. I have a friend who's was a professional writer before he began. He started doing development to get into Bitcoin, and he describes writing as clear thinking. And I think that makes a lot of sense to me. Writing challenges you to think clearly, and in a way that we wouldn't otherwise do because you kind of forget what you just said, and it's all just coming out of your head at like a really rapid fire. But with writing, you're really thinking and challenging yourself to be clear, and I think I like that.
Yeah. You mentioned one day something about the potential cost associated with creation of subs, so subreddits, sub-communities with each specific topic, and to ensure creators have skin in the game. How do you plan to balance this with the need to make the platform accessible for a wide range of users?
Yeah, we do plan on introducing subtopics and allowing people to create them, and that having a cost. The cost would probably not be excessive. I think we had some users suggest I think it was like 1 million sats a month, and I think that's probably too much. But other users suggest like 100,000 sats a month, and I think that's pretty reasonable. It would keep out some people from being able to run communities, but the idea for our communities is that the sub creator would be able to earn like Stacker.news earns from the users today. And I think today we're like Stacker.news earns, if we weren't paying it out to users in terms of rewards, we earn like 500,000 sats a week. And so you can imagine, or that might be, is it 500,000? Yeah, I think it's about 500,000 sats a week, or maybe it's a month. I could look at the data, but the idea would be they'd be net profitable if their community was active, if there was a good reason for the community to exist. It could sustain itself, and they could easily pay the monthly cost, and that's kind of what I think will allow nearly anyone to be able to create one if they have the skills or community or network or whatever to back it up.
And when discussing monetization structures, you suggested playing with different ratios of revenue sharing between creators and the community. And could you share your current thoughts on what an optimal distribution might look like?
For sharing Stacker.news' revenue?
Yeah.
Well, currently the distribution is 100%. Currently, we give, like, at the end of the day, I have a task that runs and it says how much money do we earn today? Who are the best users? Give it to them. That's kind of how it works now. I think it, obviously at some point in the future that needs to change if Stacker.news is going to continue existing. And so, maybe it's maybe we only give 50%. Maybe we only give 25. It kind of depends on how much the site grows. Right now it's, when you're a young startup, you often make you can make this trade-off oftentimes of sacrificing profits today for growth.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we've been doing. And you definitely can't do that forever, unless you want to, eventually be in the position that like an Uber or Lyft is, or a lot of these companies end up in.
Or Bitcoin goes to 1 million, then it's also we have also a different conversation.
Hey, and do you also have plans to work together, perhaps with other platforms like Circle? And what would be the benefit then for Stacker.news?
Oh, it's Circle Circle's like another community platform.
Community platform.
Yeah. I don't know. I get asked a lot of questions about integrations. Specifically from people who are like work on those products. I don't get a lot of questions about integrations from my users, and that's who I like to pay a lot of attention to. In terms of what I do next, I'm open to nearly any type. Like we do WebLN stuff. The Albi guys, before they released their wallet, I was working with them on like how Stacker.news can support WebLN, like where it makes sense. And I think that, it's obvious to me and people will want it. I'll do it. But I'm not, I don't have enough time to like explore many other products, unfortunately. So, but there's probably lots of potential stuff that we could do.
Well, I was also thinking about, because you mentioned advertising on Fountain, that perhaps Fountain with an integration Stacker.news would be very interesting for a podcaster like us to have our community on Stacker.news and our podcast on Fountain, and that you can hop on to elaborate discussion about a topic or something. So perhaps that's more like an integration that makes sense, right?
Yeah. I know Oscar pretty well. Him and I both started the companies at the same time, and we've talked about this exact thing. Like I at one point was discussing creating a podcasting sub, and he's like, "Oh, dude, hit me up when you do that. Let's do that together."
That's very interesting.
And what ideas do you still have for the near future and for the long run? And are you also using the feedback you're getting from the users?
Yeah, always using the feedback I'm getting from the users. And the main thing I'm focused on right now is the ranking algorithm and improving that. And then these user-generated subs are huge.
And maybe a collaboration with the Fountain.app, is that what we just learned, right?
No, that's more of a speculative thing. Yeah, long-term thing, maybe.
Perfect. Yeah, we ran out of time, so
it goes so fast.
It goes really fast, yeah.
Because the Lightning Network, well, you had a lot of questions about that. Specified for you, but some other time would be great to talk again, because Stacker.news is not is continues to grow. So we're very interested in what it would look like in a couple of months or in a half year. So it would be great.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Соединим этот мир.
We have still one question left for you, and you may choose one yourself. We pre-recorded one from Albert Buhl. He's from Neutron Pay. Jesse de Wit, he's from Breeze Technology, or Max DeMarco, and he's a Bitcoin filmmaker.
Okay. You want me to pick one or?
Yeah, you need to pick one. Yeah.
Okay.
The other ones you're not gonna hear them.
All right. Breeze. I'll pick the Breeze.
Jesse de Wit.
Okay, here it comes.
Hi, my name is Jesse de Wit. My question for you is, will the game theory around selfish routing nodes that want to make a profit for themselves allow for a super fast, stable, and reliable Lightning network?
Ooh, wow.
Ooh.
That's a very tough question. Does the game theory, if you play out the game, given the structure of the game theory, does it yield a super fast, efficient Lightning network? I don't think anyone knows the answer to this question yet.
No. But maybe we need to ask this question a lot more because it is interesting.
Yeah.
Because
But you can't predict the future. But what does your gut say?
I think, you can speak to some of the trends that you see currently in the Lightning Network, and you can see that there is some centralization happening, and we do have some like very large nodes and some very big players coming into the Lightning Network. And so you can imagine they might be the highways, and then you have a bunch of more rural roads around them. And maybe that is maximally efficient. It seems to be efficient for the transportation system. But that seems to be the way the game theory is working out. And that might not just be game theory that's driving that. It might be more like the technical limitations or advantages of centralizing. So I think it'll be pretty efficient and fast. My main concern is will it be accessible in a non-custodial way for everyone? I think that's kind of an open question, but I think it will be it will serve its purpose as a layer 2. I think so.
That's an interesting discussion for Stacker.news, because I was also thinking some of the first questions that we're talking about non-custodial, custodial. And of course, on Nostr, you see also the movement to that users use a lot of custodial solutions. Is it wrong or isn't it wrong?
That's what I just wanted to say. I mean, in my opinion, the Lightning Network is equivalent for cash money, and you also don't walk around with your whole savings in your pocket. Indeed. Right? So you can lose your wallet, and you can also have a bit of a risk.
So you can take your precautions.
Custodial, and then the risk is of losing it, but it won't be much more than $50 or something, right?
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So that's the smartest thing.
Yeah, but maybe you can come up with a question around that topic for one of our future guests. Keyan.
Yeah, could be great to have a spin-off on the question.
Okay. Well, thanks.
Connect the world.
Where can people follow you, Keyan? Can you maybe share your Twitter or, Stacker.news? We said it very often, of course.
Yeah, you can find me on Stacker.news. I'm also on Nostr. Been doing a lot. I've been posting mostly on Nostr recently, but I spend the majority of my time on Stacker.news, and I'm there, and I spend a lot of time on GitHub, obviously, but that's really the places.
Perfect.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, and thanks for being here, and for everybody else, thanks for listening, and thanks to all members participating in Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire, and of course, thanks to everyone helping to connect the world with us. If you like our content, then please support us in our mission. Visit our website, connecttheworld.live, where you can also donate and subscribe, like, and share our content on your favorite platform. We need you to complete our mission, connect the world. So keep those nodes running, sats flowing, and rings burning. And see you all next week on this same Lightning channel. Namaste, Keyan.
Adios.